Okay, hello. Um,
Hello.
so far just us. Okay. Yeah. 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 By the way, when I was in high school, I also took computer science classes at De Anza College. That's a sister to Foothill.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So that
Yeah,
was a very long time ago, but yeah, high school students generally do pretty well in these classes.
I'm
Um,
trying my best. It is. I totally way overdid it with my course load this semester, but we're surviving so far. Am I regretting it? Just a little bit, but it's going okay.
yeah, that's the biggest problem is if you overcommit. But
Mhm.
yeah, so how are you doing so far? Are you keeping up with the homework? The
Yeah,
question?
yeah. I haven't had a late quest, which is good. But I'm not ahead in quests. Like I'm just doing them as the weeks come, which is not ideal. Um, but I mean it's getting done and I'm lucky that I have past experience in Python and Java. So like the first few quests were pretty like, oh, okay, like I know this stuff. Now that we're
Yeah,
getting into like a little bit more complicated object oriented stuff, like it's a little bit more difficult for me. But I mean the modules are super helpful and just like looking through the textbook and like online resources, it hasn't been like last week's quest wasn't that terrible. They haven't taken me like an outrageously long amount of time, which is good. But yeah, I think what I'm most nervous for, like I didn't feel like I did as well on the midterm as I wanted to, just because like I did not have enough time to study, and so I didn't study as well as I should have. So yeah, preparing for the final, I've seen a few posts on the forum about like, oh, how are you guys preparing for the final? And yeah, that's something that I am trying to definitely like relook at my strategy and try to figure out how I can improve on that so I can actually score um better than I did last time. So yeah, that's my focus right now.
yeah. I think it's a lot of the stuff on the midterm where they were like gotchas, like
Hmm.
which it really comes from experience in coding, like not yeah, staying up all night probably wouldn't have helped you that much.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah,
definitely true.
so just the more coding, the more projects you do, the more stuff you'll eventually catch on. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, so the last third of the course here is yeah more computer sciencey stuff, yeah, object oriented
Hmm.
stuff, and then beginning of memory management. So that
Hmm.
that is going to require a little bit more study, but yeah,
Hmm.
overall, I still don't think you'll have a problem. Yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I am definitely yeah, I definitely need to it's so like I told myself at the beginning of all of my community college classes that I would like block out specific times per day, but my schedule just is so erratic. Like with my high school classes and like extracurriculars and everything, like, and then I have like college apps that I'm trying to do at the same time, and then I have like quizzes that pop up in my classes I have to study for. It's very difficult to like set out that block of time instead of just like working through things as a priority list and just saying like, oh, okay, like this is what I'm doing now. But then
Yeah.
things get lost, right? Because they just don't end up at the top of my priority list. But yeah, I think that just comes from being overloaded with classes.
Yeah.
I think
But
one thing you could do for that is like this is what I did in high school is like I would
mhm,
just work like I would also have like a block schedule, but then once I started getting more busy, everything started getting harder. It would start
mhm,
overlapping and I wouldn't finish everything. So what I
mhm,
would like suggest doing is like you can instead of starting out with a block schedule, you can start working through the things like you know that like okay, like I can finish this early or like
mhm,
I know how to do it. And then like let's say like you're working through something and then you get stuck. So like if you get
mhm,
stuck, you can like put a pause on it and then start doing something else instead of like wasting time trying to figure it out. Because also if you
Mhm.
take a break, like a mental break from something and you focus on something else, when you come back to like, so like let's say you're doing CS, you take a break from it and do like English homework. When you come back to that CS homework later, like it will click to you and like you'll be able to figure it out easier. So like that was one thing that helped me with my time management a lot. So yeah.
No, yeah, that's super good advice. Thank you. Yeah. I know I've heard like advice from like I've heard similar advice from people too saying like, oh, like if you're working on like some really hard homework and you get like stuck on a problem, like don't if you're really busy, don't stare at it for more than like 10 minutes. Like if you stare at
Yeah.
it for more than 10 minutes, just move on and go to the next thing. Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
definitely don't do that enough, especially like when I'm coding. I just get so like in the process and I'm like, okay, what's wrong with
Yeah.
it now? What's wrong with it now? Like I just want to fix it. And so I'll just end up working like I think almost all of the quests I've done in like one or two sittings just because
Yeah.
like my brain just works that way. Like I want to get it done. Like I want it to work. But I think that you're definitely right that it would be way more productive for me to be like, oh, okay, like mental break. We're tired of coding. Let's go do something else, refresh, and then come back and be more productive. So yeah.
Yeah. The thing that's annoying about coding is like, it's like let's say if you're doing a math problem, like if you're working through different math problems, each time it's like a different thing. So it's like you can't take
Mhm.
a break and come back because it's like all similar things. But the thing that's annoying about coding is like when you're coding and like let's say you get a bunch of errors, like there's also the potential of like if you take a break from it and you come back, you're gonna like kind of forget and like your brain will
Mhm.
reset. That only happens with like computer science, like as per my experience. So it's like
Mhm.
with CS, that's like the one thing where it's like even if you get a lot of errors, like it's probably a good idea to just like work through it until you get like genuinely really stuck.
Or like you get to like I mean I really like the structure of the quests because of like the mini quests. So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
if I got to like a point I was like okay, done with that mini quest, like it sort of works. Maybe leave a comment about like something that's kind of broken and
yeah.
then like move on to something else. Yeah. But for
That's something
sure
that's
like I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've gone back like gone and sat down at my code again and like what's going on, why?
yeah. I feel you.
So one thing I've noticed is that there's a difference between trying to finish a coding project, and trying to learn from it.
Mhm.
Um, because if you like in most project management, if you're, I would say sit do the coding in one sitting, get it done. Because when you come back later, then you have to go back and figure out where you were, trying to relearn the code.
Mhm.
And so it's actually more efficient to do it in one shot.
Mhm.
But in a class, the goal is not to finish it. The goal is
Mhm.
to learn from what you've done.
Mhm.
And it's actually better for your memory to space out in time that learning.
Mhm.
And so it's because I find my problem is I'm starting to forget a lot of the quests that I did because I did them, kind of early on.
Mhm.
People bring them up in the Reddit posts, and I'm like, what? Really? I did that? I completely forgot about it. And so the professor's advice of, moving until you get the password and then coming back and redoing it, it's actually better from a learning standpoint because
Mhm.
you'll do it and then go off for a few days, few weeks, come back, and then you need to, reread through the code, and then that'll refresh you. And it's more likely to stick in a long-term memory if you space out your work.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure.
So
Um,
it's yeah. So I'm trying to slow myself down, trying to space it out.
yeah. Yeah, no, I totally, yeah. I think definitely what I've been doing with the quests, just because again, like lack of time is not like doing what you're saying and like actually taking the time to like, oh, something just fell off my table. And not like taking the time to like fully understand things conceptually and just like getting to like that level of understanding where I can like debug my code, get it to work and be like, okay, we're done versus like what would happen in this scenario, what would happen in this scenario. And that I think is what really makes exams difficult is because then I get, like you were talking about, like the gotcha problems, right? And then like I do the studying, but because I'm not like thinking through it as I'm coding, then I'm missing that like the intuitive understanding of like, oh, okay, like this is something that would probably happen. This is something that would probably happen. And I think I definitely need to start, especially in preparation for the final, taking that extra time out of my schedule to do that like while I'm actually coding one of the quests instead of just like doing it while I'm like looking through the modules or reading through the textbook.
Yeah. By the way, when I was in a high school student taking community college courses and I transferred credits from community college back to my high school, they added an extra one. So so an A was worth 5 points, B was worth 4. So it's a way to hyperinflate your GPA. So are you doing the same scam? Or
Yes, I am doing the same scam. Absolutely.
okay, yeah.
It's an
So
excellent scam.
yeah, that I got it. That's how I got into
Yeah.
Berkeley.
It's
I was a
it's
slacker
That's
otherwise.
I wish I was wearing my Berkeley hoodie yesterday. I wish I was wearing it right now. That is goal school for me. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
I mean, I gotta say that is like that's kind of the idea with part of why I'm doing this because I want to do this class at my high school, but it's an absolute joke there for one. You don't learn a damn thing. It's a waste of time. Like I think I was talking to one of my friends in that class. They're doing Scratch and they haven't even learned like a
Scratch.
damn thing of
Yes.
code in the entire year.
Yes, that is because my school has AP computer science principles, which like it's
Yeah,
supposed to be like a coding class, but you just do Scratch like the whole year and
Yeah,
learn
it's
essentially
pseudocode.
nothing. And then like at the end, like when we were doing the AP exam, like I swear you could do the AP exam without even taking the class.
Yeah, that's kind
Wait,
of what
so
I've gotten from all
you
these
get extra
classes.
credits for taking this in high school? Like, how does?
Yeah.
You can actually
The thing
have it
is,
as a separate transcript even, which is actually even better
yes.
for college apps because they
Hmm.
really like seeing college transcripts.
Gotcha.
Because even if you put it onto your high school one, it'll count as like kind of like an AP class or an honors class where it's like a
Yeah.
+1. But this is even better for those kinds of things, and it has better ability to transfer.
yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, colleges want they're trying to predict if you're going to be successful in a university setting, and if you've already
Hmm.
been in university and already been successful, then
Then they're
Yeah, that
like,
makes
oh,
sense. Because
yeah,
I'm working on my
you go.
transfer right now too. So it's like, well, I'm obviously I'm a freshman in college. So I'm literally like I'm taking community classes like everywhere. I'm taking them like at a local one here. I'm taking them at
hmm.
Foothill at Dianza. I don't know if you guys know where that is, but it's like the sister college of Foothill. So it's like
Hmm.
I'm just trying to like overload on like all my classes and then obviously like do well in them. And then I'm just doing my Common App right now. Or my UC app, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in UCF, right? Like, there's a whole section on your like. I mean, at least for me as a high schooler, like, there's a whole because I'm also doing my UCF. There's a whole
Yeah.
section on like the college courses that you took, and like I had to fill out like, okay, I've been to these colleges, like these are the classes
Yeah.
I took, like these are the credits, yeah. Um, but yeah, I think in my experience, I think that community college classes are just so much better than AP classes. Because
Okay, so I'm an AP teacher. So there are different AP classes. So the AP principles, that's designed for people who are not
Yeah,
going to be majors in there.
we
But
have a
there's the other AP computer science class.
yeah,
I
we
think
have that one. We have the
CPA.
other. We have the like the more like comprehensive AP
CSA.
comp site.
Yeah.
Yeah, CSA.
And
Um,
Yeah.
that one is not a joke, right?
that
There
one
you
is a
are
joke
learning
still at our
actual job.
school. Like that, the teacher's just really bad.
No,
Okay.
that
That
class is
is,
actually
yeah.
hard. That class actually teaches you like
AP,
Java.
yeah, APCSA sounds like a really excellent class. Like at least like what I've seen from it, from College Board. But I, but my school, like we just don't have enough interest at my school
Yeah.
to make it happen, unfortunately. But yeah, it sounds significantly like it's definitely CSP isn't a programming class. Like
It's for
Yeah.
beginners.
we,
It's meant for beginners. Like it's
yeah,
pseudocode. That's just
it's
like
just like,
It's
yeah,
for
it's
users of
pseudocode.
computers,
Yeah.
not for professional software developers.
Yeah.
yeah.
And CSA is a programming class, like you just code, versus CSP is a lot more like conceptual. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Anyway, back
But-
to this class. Do any of you guys know, is the final like comprehensive from everything that we've done, or is it like just what we've learned since the
I
midterm?
would assume so, because for one, it builds on the previous stuff, but also if
Sure.
from the midterm, we had stuff from that original data representation quiz even on there. So I
Mhm.
presume the same kind of logic would go to saying that the final would have stuff from the midterm and the same quiz. Yeah, pretty much. I did just finish up the code for for this last quest, and I had some issues with it, and I finally figured out why. And it's the dumbest reason I've ever heard. It is that I read the thing that it wanted wrong. You remember the pop function with a pointer variable?
Yeah.
I assumed that you were supposed to take in that number and find where it is and remove it, not just take out the top one and return it as that part of there as that little thing. So yeah, that
I
was
totally feel that.
that wasted about 3 hours because
Totally
I
feel that.
trying to figure it out, and then I finally decided to look on the Reddit, and somebody mentioned
Yeah.
that.
A lot of computer science is following directions.
Honestly, that kind of seems like my biggest problem in this class.
Yeah.
Every time I've messed up,
It's it's you're writing directions and following directions. It's
because you're just
yeah, because
translating directions.
yeah, exactly. But
Mhm.
in the corporate world, it's mostly that. It's not a lot of intense math. It's you know what color is the background going to be? What just following directions. So work on this, not that. That's life. So it's 3 hours of your life this time around was it's cheap compared to later on when you're working on the same stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, I'm not looking forward to that kind of stuff, but I'm taking computer science less as because I want to take computer science as a major, but more because I need to know it for electrical engineering, which is the major I
Yep.
kind of plan on. And
Yep.
it's
For sure.
because it's kind of
Yeah,
like a bridge.
absolutely, yeah. I'm applying as a physics major, but like in every single like university setting that I've been in, like you need to know how to code, like to some degree. And it's just like for every field pretty much, especially every STEM field, like it's just an important skill to have at this point, at least from what I've seen. So yeah, I'm also taking it not necessarily because I want to major, but just because it's like that important extra skill to have outside of like your major required classes.
Yeah, but if you're a non-CS major, Python is probably going to be way more useful to you than C.
Mhm.
That's what
C
I
is
thought
yeah.
until I started using Arduinos, and that's basically just like weird C plus plus.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
okay, that's true. I mean, you're
yeah, like I built a ton of projects in my classes with that. So
yeah. But these days there's a bunch of Python based, MicroPython based microcontrollers. So
there
you
are.
can
Oh, I'll have to look into those.
yeah.
Mhm.
Adafruit sells a lot of them. Microbit is another one. So yeah, you can get away with without knowing C and just do it in Python. It's slower, but everything's so fast these days anyway, it doesn't matter. But
Mhm.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
knowledge is never a bad thing, but yeah,
All right,
Python
that's
is
good
good
to know.
enough. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna. I got another 2 or 3 minutes, but I have to teach a class. I teach junior high right now,
Oh, nice.
so I'm gonna run in like 2 minutes. So I'll say goodbye ahead of time.
All right.
All right.
Well, I have a
See you next
question
week.
regarding. Can I ask a question?
Mhm.
Yeah, so when I see the gradings, like there's a 5% on blue DAWG for like whatever we get over 191
Oh, I
trophies.
think it
Like,
means you get 5 points for getting over 191 trophies.
but
That's
like,
for just completing all the quests perfectly.
oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Or is
Yeah,
that
that
more?
So
I thought it was just
yes.
one that if you reach 191.
I
Oh yeah, I
think
Because
think it's
isn't the
greater than or
max
equal
like
to.
like, do
oh,
you
okay.
I
have to
don't
go
really
over
understand.
191?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't really understand like how it's expressed on like
yeah,
the home page, like in terms of like the greater than, but like what the
yeah.
syllabus says is
It's
you just get that the 40% for like just getting the password for each new quest, and then
yeah.
you get that extra bonus 5% if you do them all perfectly, essentially,
Okay.
and you get max trophies for every single one.
Like the thing is, like, I remember we had an extra credit on. I forgot which one it was, but I didn't do it. Like, doesn't mean like I couldn't get the 5% because like it's 5% extra credit. Like, so if we don't do the extra credit, like the highest we can get is a 95 out of the
Yeah,
like
no, if you
whole
don't
grade.
complete every quest perfectly, I think the highest you can get is 95. Because I was adding
Yes,
up the
but
percentages and it looked like it only added up to 100.
Okay.
yes, but the thing is
So
also look at his grading scale. Like an A is a 91 for him, and an 88 is an A minus. So like
Curved.
you can you can survive. I don't think it's curved, but it's just his grading scale is like it's not typical like 90 cutoff. Like 90 is an A
okay.
minus, like 90 cutoff for an A. So you can survive very well if you don't dog any quests. Like
So,
even if you don't dog any quests and you still miss like some other
yeah.
points in like the final category or in somewhere else, then you can still totally get out with an A minus or even an A if you don't miss that many points.
Okay.
Um,
So
I mean, consider too that like the midterm and final are only like 20% of your grade. So if you did okay in like the
well, that's a
data rep
relief because I
quiz,
didn't do really well in my midterms. I made a lot of like dumb
yeah, I
mistakes.
didn't either. It's totally. Oh, I
Yeah.
was gonna say, so in terms of midterm retake, um, the professor, the professor was saying that you needed to have like full or close to full participation points to like be eligible for the midterm retake in week 11. But I was doing the math and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the only way to have like full points at the beginning of week 11 is if you do not miss a single point in participation ever. And I personally have missed like I've missed enough points to where I'll have max 93 at the beginning of week 11. And so I messaged him about it and he said that that was fine. Like he said that the 93 was fine and that I would
Mhm.
still, if I had, oh, this is another thing. You do have to, by week 11, dog all quests if you
Mm.
want to be available for or be eligible for the midterm retake.
Okay.
But if you do that, then you can retake it regardless of your score.
So I believe what he said was like you can retake it if you get lower than 50. Like I have a
Yes.
my midterm is above 50, but it's not really good, so it's kind of awkward.
Yeah,
For
so
my
I could have sworn you could still do it. You could still
He
take it.
said,
It wasn't
didn't he
above
just
you
say that
50.
you could do it
can.
if
So
it
you can
was
okay.
Yeah.
regardless
Yeah,
of
so all the
score?
criteria, if you get below 50, you can retake it at any point. All the criteria that I was saying is for you to retake it regardless of your score. So like if you got like a 90, you can still
Mhm.
retake it as
Okay.
long as you've dogged all quest and you have like decently high participation.
Will he keep the highest or like whatever we get in the final midterm we keep it? Like I'm afraid I might get lower than whatever.
No, it's best. Somebody asked that in a couple meetings ago. I forget who, but it is best of both.
Okay.
So yeah, you're all good. I was also worried about that. But yeah. I mean, if we're taking the final, we might as well. It's my logic. If anything, it's like another practice final.
Also, if we miss some points on the 191 trophies, can we submit like a green quest to sort of like an extra credit?
Do you mean like if you miss, like if you have a late quest?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have a late quest, then yeah, you can. He said that you can ask for extra credit in week 9. So
Okay.
now, but you have to have no outstanding. Oh wait, no. I think I forget exactly what it was. I think it's if you have no outstanding work. So if like you don't have anything that you haven't done yet. So I think even if you have a late quest, I think that you can still request extra credit as long as all of your other quests are done. Somebody can correct me on that because I'm not 100% sure.
The thing is, for my quest, I missed like 0 point something trophies on one of the quests. I don't want to get 5% of the entire grade for just like missing one trophy. I got like
so you're
33
saying that like
2.7 something on the quest 6 or something. Like I couldn't just get to 0.3. I don't want to miss like entire 5% of the grade on. Like
yeah, no, I totally get that. I don't know. I think yeah, if you have all of your honestly, I would just post about it in the Reddit or message him about it if you want it to be private. But yeah. Oh, somebody's saying something.
like I saw, if I originally thought it was fine because it was like 0 point something trophies, and I reviewed the gradings, like no, it's 5% of the entire grade.
Yeah, I know. I think I don't necessarily know if it's a like an all or nothing for the dogging. Do you guys know? I don't remember reading that in the syllabus, but I don't know if you have to have all of them perfect to get like if it's all of them
It
perfect
wouldn't make any sense to be
5%.
5 points if it was just one thing. You could just make it 1
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I think that it might be because the thing is like if you have like I know that for like the pup section of the quests, like it would be ridiculous to have like lose the full 40% if you like miss like oh, but that's not possible because you have to pup all quests to move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm wrong. I think
The thing
that
is, I have enough like pops to move on, but not enough pops to be perfect.
yeah, I think
Like for a
Wait,
lot
so
of
how
the
many quests have
don't
you
I
not
think
dogged? Like is there a lot of quests that you didn't dog
no,
or
just
something?
one. Just one. I missed like
Uh,
0.3 something trophies on one of the quests, and I didn't do the extra credit. So
I'm pretty
I
sure
wonder,
for as long as you pup the quest on time, you can go back to dog them at any
Okay.
time.
oh yeah, absolutely you can.
Oh, that's
Uh,
strange.
Yeah, at any time you can like I've been following like what the professor suggested in the syllabus and just like going through and pupping each quest until I finish them and then so like locking
Go
in the
back.
40% and then going back and
Okay.
dogging them if I have time to. But yeah, I think you can like I will be going back to like early quests and dogging them. So yeah, you can totally go back at any point.
Does anyone know if our like coding style is going to be graded at all? So like if there's a bunch of inefficiencies in your code or
I think it was
things
on
like
the
that.
midterm, but I don't think I think he's meant to not have it on the midterm.
Mm-hmm.
I think
are
that's
you
what he said
asking
about it.
about the code you turn in?
Yeah, I'm talking
that
about the
gets
code.
tested?
Does
There's
I
no
don't think
way that
so.
there's
I'm pretty
unless
sure
it's
mine
just
isn't that good, but I'm still getting dogged. I dogged all of them, so pretty sure it's fine.
Yeah,
don't
I'm
think
pretty sure because like the way that he's testing it, like the way that the website tests it, I don't think it counts for style at all.
I don't think it
yeah,
can.
I
Because like
don't think the website tests it. I didn't know if like he was gonna like, you know, take a look at some sample file of code that we had submitted to think. I couldn't remember if it was in the syllabus and I just haven't looked back yet.
I think style is definitely like all over the modules, and I think it might be in the syllabus, but he said that it doesn't really matter that much. And he even said, like, I know William said this, but like he even said on the midterm that if we got a style question, that it was just 3 points because he wasn't going to mark us down for getting it wrong. So if that's his policy, I would say like 90% chance that it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
As long
All
as
right.
it's not like all on one line.
Oh gosh, no.
I mean, I don't think he can even check style on the site anyways or anything like that. Considering
Yeah.
like especially with like that binary search quest, we like he couldn't tell if you just did a linear search and returned it.
I think
It
he
just
said I think he said that like he would put like a huge number or something. So then that would, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but like,
oh yeah,
because
I
I didn't
remember him
do that,
saying that.
but
Yeah.
like he would put a huge number, and if it returns like some kind of like runtime error or something, then he would be able to tell. But yeah,
Oh yeah. I don't know. I think I did read that too. I just did a binary search, so I don't know. But yeah. I don't know enough about CS to understand how his website works. But yeah, I definitely think it's not grading you on style.
Anyone else got any questions?
I'm sure I had like a question, but I'm forgetting what it is now. Oh, now that Mark's here, I was gonna ask, is the 2A final cumulative from like the entire course, or is it just what we've learned since the midterm?
It's definitely cumulative. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is it, oh, I haven't looked at it. Is it like significantly longer? I don't remember from the syllabus.
It's 40 question, I think.
Okay.
Also for 2B.
Okay. I hate tests. Let's see.
I would ask questions about the quest I'm currently on, the green quest, but I don't even know what quest to ask, what question to ask because I'm completely confused. Like I don't even know. Like I'm on the third green quest right now, and um, I still don't really understand the cellular automata, like the how to make the next generation. Um, is it just is there like some kind of visualization that like that can help with it, or just is there like some kind of thing I should read to understand it better?
I think in the spec, it links you to a website. If you look at the spec for Quest 3, right? Basically
Yeah.
explains what the elementary cellular automaton is. You could also search it up. It's called elementary cellular automaton. And then there's like the Wolfen Alpha website, and that's where I started learning it. That's very helpful. Like that gets you like
Wolfram Alpha.
knowledge. Yeah. The guy who invented this thing.
I see.
Do you guys
Okay,
know,
I'll look
do you
into
guys
that.
know like if green quests are counted at all for extra credit? I've heard people say
Uh,
yes, and I've heard people say no.
I
You
don't
should
think
ask them.
so. I'm pretty sure it's no. I think people have asked him and he said no. Like the only one that I've really seen that he said for sure would give extra credit was like on the subreddit when someone like took all of the lecture videos and like made a, I don't know if you guys saw that, but like he like explained like for every single week what videos correspond to what week, and that was like pretty extensive. But yeah, that's the only extra credit I've seen him actually give out.
Yeah, I think just like really substantial forum posts is, yeah, also what I've heard from him, but that's unfortunate the green quests aren't. Let's see. Um Mhm. Does anybody have anything else that's on their minds?
Not really. I haven't
Um,
gotten far into
uh,
platypus.
Mark, I have a question. How much harder is 2B from 2A?
So you mean like the quests? So I would say it's longer. Like if you read through the spec, it's definitely longer, and it's just like a when you did quest 9, and it's basically that. And occasionally I think there's like 2 quests in there, and that's pretty easy. But other than that, it's just quest 9 for blue or harder. Not necessarily harder, you just gotta spend more time. It's pretty clear though, I would say.
Okay.
All right. I think if that's pretty much it, I think I'm gonna head out because I have to be somewhere. But yeah. Bye guys. Thank you for the
Alright.
help. I appreciate it.
I think I'm gonna go as well. See you guys.
Same. So.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Have a good day.